and that is a right-handed chair there for the number 72 of Reichmuth and Reichmuth. Not normally what you see in the sidecars there. They are, the majority, the vast majority, are left-handers, but that's the right-handed chair for the Reichmuth pairing. But we do have a green flag at the back. All eyes to the lights, and the lights are out already, so we've got racing underway, and there's a poor start there for the number 35 of Reeves and Vandenberg, and it looks as though it could well be the number 54 then of Danny Quirk and Sharon Reeves potentially taking a whole shot. So that is on the Quirks Classics. The sidecars, the reserve of number 6 did make it out onto the grid, but I believe, Keith, as you go around Coppice for the first time, this will be an 8-lap race for the Camathias Cup European sidecars. That's the number 54 of Danny Quirk and Sharon Reeves out in front.
Certainly is, my friend. They come past me and very much leading the way. They saw this yesterday. Very rapid team indeed. Lovely martini colours on the outfit chasing them. Didn't quite catch the number of that particular one. But yeah, classic BMW machines leading the way. But as we mentioned before, the variety of engines in this particular field is absolutely phenomenal. Danny and Sharon are using a Vincent, so the classic bit of Stevenage machinery there. Best thing ever to come out of Hertfordshire, that's for sure. Down the hill we go. I can see Ray Reeves on the distinctive green machine there is in 3rd place, so they'll be looking to move up. And we watch the passengers get themselves all lined up, hanging out of these outfits. See some real angles of dangle going on down there into the bottom of the mountain as they go through Mansfield up towards the chicane. Disappear out of my sight there, back up towards you and across the top of the mountain through the Hall Bends. For those listening at home at the moment, the weather here is fine, dry, but unfortunately there's a bit of a breeze there. I can see some of the flags fluttering away, and we are expecting rain to come across shortly. So hopefully that won't dampen proceedings too much, because this is usually one of the most fabulous meetings that we have this year. So they'll be back into your sight very shortly indeed. I think, Bradley, here we go right now.
You're coming out of the barn at the end of lap number 1 then. Lap 1 complete, 7 more to go, and it's Danny Quirk and Sharon Reeves who'll lead the way. And I'll tell you what, Keith, out of the chicane on this first lap, that sidecar wheel was about 1.5 foot up in the air as they went through the left-hander of the chicane. But they have a lead now of 1.2 seconds over Thurkel and Morley. And the pole sitters, number 35 of Reeves and Vandenberg, they have dropped 2 positions. They are down into 3rd place at the moment, ahead of Nourish and Leaf Lang, and then the Reichmuth pairing. But the big losers on that one, starting in 7th position, but dropping down to 9th there, Perkins and Nichols. They have dropped a few positions, but they're still 2nd in the up to 750 class. Interestingly enough, there is no sign still of the number 56 of Marvin Vermeulen, so no Vermeulen and Klinker once again in this race. So the championship leaders, that gap will be coming down with only 2 rounds to go for these guys, but a 1.2 second advantage at the front for Danny Quirk and Sharon Reeves. Outside of the top 5, we have Lewis and Lewis, and then it's the first of the up to 750s. That's Schoenderbeek and Vandenberg, the number 62 outfit, 7th overall on the road, but first in class. Worthington and Todd in 8th. Then it's Perkins and Nichols ahead of De Haas and De Haas, the father and daughter pairing there in 10th position. The number 77, that 8th in class in the over 750s, but 10th on the road. As we look back towards the bottom of the mountain once again, and that gap, it looks as though it's opened up marginally there. So Danny Quirk and Sharon Reeves in the first sector pulled out another 1 second, so they're looking to double that gap already on this second lap over the number 24 of Thurkel and Morley, who took 3rd place yesterday behind Reeves and Vandenberg. But this time around it is roles reversed, because Reeves and Vandenberg, your pole sitters, the green number 35, they sit in 3rd position as they go into the woodland section. Tailenders just making the way out of the chicane in towards the bottom of the mountain now, but your race leader's already out of barn, up through the gearbox once again to complete this second lap. It's Danny Quirk and Sharon Reeves over Thurkel and Morley, but Reeves and Vandenberg, they're going on the inside there. So the number 35 of Reeves and Vandenberg, that's a challenge. Is there? All that was so close, but they just about make it through. And your pole sitters then, number 35, they were 3rd across the line, but they are up into 2nd position now. The gap at the front is 3.3 seconds, and next up will be Reeves and Vandenberg by around about 1/10 of a second, Keith, as they come towards you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to see what Reeves can do now. He's got an empty track in front of him, and he's going to begin that long chase. And I tell you what, already he's opening up that gap between himself and Thurkel and Morley. I think they were, obviously was the fastest man on the track yesterday, and not just the fastest man, by about 1.5 seconds over Quirk and Reeves, according to the lap times of yesterday. So we'll wait to see if he can close that gap down again But as you said, it was Quirk and Reeves who took the win yesterday. Just sheer tenacity, I think. Down the hill they come, and definitely that gap has closed. Into Mansfield we go. It's getting a little bit closer. You'll obviously get the sector times now as they go across the stripe there before they enter the chicane. Give us an idea of how we're going, but I think Ray Reeves is probably going to pull in a purple there, isn't he, mate?
Yeah, we're having a look there, and Reeves and Vandenberg, you're absolutely right, purple in this first sector as they look about closing down the deficit between themselves and Quirk and Reeves. It was 3.3 seconds, the gap between first and second, just one lap ago. Just a quick word as well for the number 13 of Hendrik Jonkner and Lee Schmolgan, they're pairing from Diepenveen. I think they had a bit of an issue in the warm-up session earlier on this morning, but it's good to see that they've made it out there, and they are currently in 8th in class. That's the up to 750s for the number 13 of Jonkner and Schmolgan. As we look towards Barn, waiting for the leader to reappear once again, the 54 in the Quirks Classics outfit. There they are, Danny Quirk and Sharon Reeves leading the way, but I tell you what, Keith, Reeves and Vandenberg, they're looking to close down that gap because purple in sector number 1, and they back it up with the purple in sector number 2. They've gone 0.9 of a second quicker than your race leaders, so Reeves and Vandenberg, they've got 5 laps to close down that 2.1 second deficit. It could well be close in the closing stages, but that is all to come over the following laps, with Thurkel and Morley now in a, well, we're going to say a quite secure third place there, but Nourish and Leaflanger less than a second behind them, and then 11 seconds back we have the 72 of the Reitmuth pairing as well. So that is your top 5, but Reeves and Vandenberg, they are the quickest on it.
Yes, certainly are. I'm not surprised to see it with that empty gap, but I think they're going to get that gap down in a couple of laps. They pull back in second already. It's interesting how exposed. Who's our team in 4th there, mate? Is it Nourish and
absolutely
Flang? Yeah, it's interesting how exposed their engine is. We can see pretty much everything on the side there, so it must be very warm as a passenger there. Down into Mansfield we go then, and that gap has got down to about half a dozen or so bike lengths. So I think we're going to be seeing a challenge very shortly indeed for the lead. Obviously Ray's a very experienced competitor. He's been playing this game for over 50 years, so he'll know when to make a move and where to make a move. Obviously you don't get too many opportunities around Cadwell Park. You don't want to go for the last lap lunge up to the mountain there, but I think he's got more than enough time to stalk his victim and decide where he's going to make it. However, we did see Quirk and Reeves lift their skirts and kick up their high heels later in the race yesterday, and they ended up winning the race by 2.7 seconds. I don't know where they found some late race pace or whether Reeves and Vanderbilt had a bit of a moment somewhere, but I do remember that Reeves was leading most of the race yesterday, only to unfortunately come undone towards the end. So he'll be not looking for a repeat of that. Quirk and Reeves heading towards the line now. You can see that gap has come down to pretty much nothing in it now, is there?
Yeah, they're close enough to make use of the slipstream there, and it's always very signal manoeuvres to go up the inside then. So your new race leaders, it's now the number 35 of Reeves and Vandenberg. So that poor start has taken them 4 laps then as we start this 5th lap. So we are at half race distance now, lap 4 complete of 8, and Quirk and Reeves now relegated down to 2nd position as Reeves and Vandenberg find a way through as they go into Coppice Corner at the start of lap number 5.
Tell you what, it's great watching Vanderbilt lie down. He literally lies down. There's a very tiny fairing in the front of that little bike, and he is lying down, as are so quite a few of the passengers actually. They're just watching him come out of the corner and assume the position all the way down the straight here, trying to make the most of what limited aerodynamics there are on these machines. I can see the Bears outfits there as well. Are they running in a separate class at the moment, or are they just out for a bit of a play, do you think?
It's all about track time there, isn't it, I guess?
Yeah, so they're not running as a separate class. I tell you what, though, the one thing that could trip Ray Reeves up, of course, they are coming up on the traffic. You can see the bikes coming out of the chicane now, and here come the leaders into the chicane. So all of a sudden, that's 4 machines that they're going to catch very quickly, possibly up over the mountain there. So that's where it could be getting a little bit difficult, couldn't it?
No, you're absolutely right. It's about a 1.5 second gap I make it as they go into the foot of the mountain once again on this 5th lap. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4 outfits that may come into play as they go in towards the woodland section, and well, you can hardly make the move on a solo, let alone these sidecars there in the woodland section, Keith, can you?
No, not a lot of room to play with. Obviously 8 lap races, so we're just over halfway into this race so far today.
Looking up towards Barn Corner, waiting for Reeves and Vandenberg to reappear. So here comes one of the tail enders then as they come out of Barn and across the line once more. And there is your race leaders. The gap has closed down in the woodlands as well. So it looks like your race leaders of Reeves and Vandenberg were slightly held up, but not enough for Danny Quirk and Sharon Reeves to put that to their advantage. So in towards Coppice once again with 3 laps to go. and through goes Durkle and Morley as well. They're 5.6 seconds adrift from that of Quirk and Reeves, but it's a 1 minute 53 that we're lapping at the moment there. The quickest lap of the race is a 1 minute 50.398 for Reeves and Van den Berg, so that at the moment that seems to put them on pole position for the next one, but of course we do have 3 laps to go.
Our leaders safely through those back markers, and it's fantastic to watch Van den Berg just assume the position. He very casually lies down on that outfit. Apparently one of the classic outfits yesterday, the passenger actually came out the back of the outfit on the front straight and managed to drag their way back onto the outfit as they were getting dragged along the back of the machine all the way down the front straight there. That would have been quite spectacular to see. I missed that one during the demonstration. Right, here comes Ray Reeves then down as Van den Berg leans out of that outfit, trying desperately to make sure that inside wheel doesn't go lifting over the curb there, as the rest of the field make their way to some of those back markers as well. And yeah, the Bears machines unfortunately a little bit unwieldy compared with some of these pure race machines, which is what these machines absolutely are, regardless of the machinery underneath. They are very classic machines. But I don't think the BMW ones are supercharged, unlike the machines of the 50s and 60s. I'd have to maybe look a little bit closer there, but I didn't remember seeing any kind of supercharging on them, but I'll happily be corrected on that one. What are we, how many laps are you going to have left over the line this time, Bradley?
Well, we're about to start the penultimate lap when Reeves and Van den Berg come over the line, and they are making their way out of barn now. So the bright green of Reeves and Van den Berg, just 2 laps to go, less than 4.5 miles in this race. There is Danny Quirk and Sharon Reeves. They're in second now by 3.6 seconds, and they seem to have lost out within that first sector on the previous lap, Keith, because they lost about 2.6 seconds to that of the race leaders, Reeves and Van den Berg. Durkle and Morley are across the line now, as is Nourish and Leaflang, and I see what you mean about the exposed engine on that one there for Nourish and Leaflang, but I'll tell you what, going in towards Coppice, Leaflang really does just put himself over the bodywork on the sidecar there, and that's one thing that we noted from Marvin Vermeulen yesterday as well in the qualifying sessions, wasn't it, is that he really does climb all over the back of the outfit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Very, very athletic performance, I think is possibly the best way to describe that. So don't forget, folks, if you want to have a look at these Camathias Cup machines, or indeed any of the machines, please feel free to wander around the paddock. The paddock is open to all spectators. It's not a closed paddock unlike a BSB meeting, so you're more than welcome to go for a bit of a wander around, have a look, have a chat with some of the competitors. Despite our inability to pronounce their names, their English is far better than my Dutch, so feel free to have a chat and discuss all things classic sidecar, as well as some of the modern machinery. As I mentioned before, you can say hello to, shake hands with some world champions in the paddock at the moment. So the laps count down, and Reeves and Van den Berg looks like they've done a splendid performance. They're only going to have 1 lap to go when they make their way to the line this time. Don't know what's happened to Martin Vermeulen. Be interesting to find out that. Whatever fate befell the Vermeulen outfit yesterday, it's unfortunately, it looks like they haven't been able to sort it out overnight, which is a great shame, as the last lap flag now goes out to the leaders. So 1 more lap for the gold medal. Ray Reeves to add to his already extensive collection, and Van den Berg as well will be very grateful to see a bit of Bemsy trophy wear on his mantelpiece as well. It's amazing, just, and he's already signalling his driver. I think he just gave the thumbs up to Ray. Very obviously, I think he's just letting him know that he's not being challenged at all. What is the gap across the line there, Bradley?
There's 7.2 seconds between Reeves and Quirk this time around. It looks like Danny Quirk and Sharon Reeves are just solidifying that second place, because they're 7.2 seconds down the road from the race leaders, but 8.6 seconds up the road from the 24 of Tony Thurkle and William Morley. So definitely looking secure in that second position as they go on to this final lap.
Okay, where is the first battle that we're going to see? Looking at the timing screen there, mate. Anything leaping out at you as a close finish?
Just having a look now. Looks like I've got some side-by-side action coming across the line here, and that is between the number 77 of De Haas and the 7 of Worthington and Todd. So that is fighting for 6th position in the over 750 category, 8th and 9th on the track then, Keith. They're making their way in towards Coppice and Charlie's one at the moment as the race leader is heading over the mountain already and in towards Hall Bend for the final time. But that is the closest gap I can see is between 77 and the number 7.
Well, that'll give Tim Reeves something to cheer about, as his lovely wife on board there with her father. And, that'll be Tim's father-in-law, of course. But way out in front, Ray Reeves and Van der Boer. I think they're working their way across the top of the mountain. I think they're going to be out of...
Yep. Got them here. The checkered flag goes out, and it's a win for the number 35 of Ray Reeves and Jens van den Boer then. So it's a 2nd position yesterday, a win today, and Danny Quirk and Sharon Reeves, they come across the line to take 2nd position, so a win yesterday and 2nd position today. Roles reversed between the number 35 and 54 outfits. Looking now for the 24, the pairing from Thirsk up there in North Yorkshire. It is the 24 now, Herkel and Morley. They will complete the podium overall and in the over 750 category. So the number 46 of Nourish and Leaflang, that will be the next outfit across the line, and they almost got past one of the tail enders there, but Nourish and Leaflang, 4th position in class as well as on the road. And then next up we look for that right-handed chair of the number 72 of the Reitmuth pairing. So that is the 72 then of Guido and Zita Reitmuth from Brunnen. They will be next up to complete the top 5, and here they come now, down from Barn, and the checkered flag waving for them to complete those top 5 positions. But that battle, as we mentioned one lap ago, between De Haas and Worthington and Todd, the 77 and the number 7, it was a half a tenth of a second that separated them as they came across the line the previous time around. Perkins and Nichols up next, then it will be the number 62 machine of Schunderbeek and Van den Boer, and it's the 77 of the De Haas pairing who do get the better of Worthington and Todd at the end of this 8-lap Camathias Cup European Classic race. The 28 just coming across the line there, and that puts them into the top 10 overall in class, albeit a lap down for Blaul and Crete, and that is 18th position on the road. And the 98 of Gag and Gag coming across the line there side by side with the 48 of Beans and Arends, and of course